Welcome back to the channel. We are doing a tier list of every single mainline Pokemon game up to Sword and Shield, but I'll tell you where I would put Scarlet and Violet, okay? I'm going to go in generation order. Simple as that. And I'm only going to do one version of a generation. So if I choose a remake instead of a original, or if I choose a third version like Emerald versus Ruby and Sapphire, I will do that. Let's do it. I'm going to go ahead and start with Pokemon Fire Red, and I'm going to say this is a Gen 1 game in general. Obviously, this is an S tier game. Everything you wanted from a Pokemon game and a Pokemon remake, you got when Pokemon Fire Red came out. It is phenomenal. It is everything that you want it to be. Phenomenal game, phenomenal Pokemon, phenomenal everything. Excellent game. Let's talk about Generation 2. Generation 2 is how you make a sequel for a game. It is. I will say, in my personal opinion, it's one of my least favorite regions. It just is. There's something about the Johto region that feels unorganized. And while I love the ability to go back into Kanto, that's really all it really gets for me. I don't really get much else. And I'm going to say that the Johto games, I'm not going to count the remake, actually, because the remake was better than the original. It was. I'm going to say Crystal is a B tier game. I don't think Crystal is what we wanted it to be. I think it, at least for me, I just didn't enjoy it as much. I really didn't. And while it is perfect as a sequel, I just think the replay value isn't the same. That's my personal opinion. Generation 3, Pokemon Emerald. It is a perfect game. It is a perfect game. I think Gen 1 has to win out of the two. If it was my personal opinion list, I would put Emerald number 1. But this has to go where it goes. It belongs, Pokemon Emerald belongs in S tier. It is a perfect game. It is everything we wanted. It's perfect. I know some people at the time didn't like it when it came out, but it's great now. And let's put Platinum up there too. Platinum is really good. Platinum is so good. Platinum is everything people want. Everything people want. And as you can see, I'm recording this after I recorded the Gen 4 tier list because you can still hear the squeaking sounds in the background. She's having a lot of fun, though, so it's okay. It's all right, Maya. Let's just listen to it for a little bit. Watch. She's having a great time. Gen 5, Pokemon Black and White. Now I'm going to put the sequel in there, too. Pokemon Black and White were a generation that, again, for its time, got a lot of hate. But they were so good. For anyone who actually played them, they were so good. They were phenomenal. For anyone who actually played them, they were perfect. They did so many good things and then so many things right. And people just hated it because it felt so different. But it was great. It was great. Let's move on to an S tier game. Mega Evolution, the best generational gimmick ever. And the fact that they still won't go back to it is crazy. They need to bring it back. They need to bring back Mega Evolution. This is such a great game. I love the fact that it was the first ever 3D iteration of Pokemon. It was nailed. They absolutely nailed it. It was so good. It was done perfectly. And they haven't gone back to it since. Pokemon fundamentally changed a lot in Pokemon X, but it still felt like Pokemon. Modern day stuff doesn't feel as much as it used to, unfortunately, anymore. Excellent game. Excellent. Pokemon Sun and Moon are C tier games. Look, I played it. I had fun. But can I really say that I thought that this Pokemon was up to par than any of the other ones above it? I own a copy of both Pokemon Sun, Pokemon Moon, Pokemon Ultra Sun, and Pokemon Ultra Moon. I also own copies of Pokemon X and Y and Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. How many of those games do you think I've gone on my 3DS and started a fresh playthrough on in the last, I don't know, as long as I've had them? If you were right about the fact that I've played all of them again and not Pokemon Sun and Moon, you would be correct. Something about the fact that while they did do, in my opinion, a good job, changing it up, adding Alolan forms, things that people were asking for a really long time. What they messed up with, in my opinion, was the execution. I think they messed up with the fact that removing gyms was a fundamental change that a lot of people didn't like, because you didn't feel like you were making progress, right? The only way to track your progress was doing the island trials, but there were only 5 of those or 4 of those or something like that. And then there was a whole bunch of stuff with the evil team. And then you still had a Pokemon League and you had the battle tree and stuff like that. And all that was cool, right? But at the end of the day, I think the problem is that people who play Pokemon like the gym system because it lets them feel like they've made progress. It's like, okay, I finished that gym. I finished the 5th gym. Okay, I'm over halfway done now, or this, that, and the other. I think the lack of feeling like you made progress stopped a lot of people from playing this game. And while I thought it was great, it wasn't as good as the rest. It just wasn't. But there is one D tier game. Pokemon Sword was good. It was a callback to the way things used to be. Here's why I didn't like it. Dialogue. There was so much dialogue. The intro was about 2.5 hours long. It takes forever to get into a gym. It takes forever to do a gym battle. There's so much story that isn't really all that interesting. There's all that different stuff. I think Pokemon Sword is a D tier game. I don't think it's bad. You guys got to understand, I have a YouTube channel that I work on almost every single day on Pokemon related things. If I thought Pokemon Sword was bad, I wouldn't be doing this. I enjoyed the game. But it's not perfect. It's not what people wanted it to be. After Sun and Moon came out, people were excited that it was going back to the gyms. People were excited that it was going to be the first iteration on the Switch. But at the end of the day, it didn't turn out the way that I think people had hoped and the way that I had hoped. I think it's a D tier game. So that is our Pokemon games tier list. Every generation of games. 1, 3, 6, and 4 are all S tier. 5 is an A tier. 2 is a B tier. 7 is a C tier, and 8 is a D tier. That is the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you agree or disagree. If I had to put remakes on this, I would put Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire in S. I would put Heart Gold Soul Silver in A. I would put Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl in like C. But you know what? I'm pretty happy with this list. So let me know what you guys think. I will see you guys for the next video.